Hey, it's Dr. Kate Walker, and welcome to our Thursday 30. I'm seeing more and more of you joining us, and I'm so happy because we've got a lot of changes coming up, and it's important that we have the best paperwork we possibly can have, and that's what November and December is all about. We're going to create ethical paperwork that's easy, right? Because if it's not easy, we're not going to do it. And we're going to make sure that it helps us get the most profit we can while protecting our clients and the public. And so this time of year is sort of my go through my paperwork time of year. I make sure that I have everything updated and changed. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do that with you guys, right? So today it's all about the Superbill. The Superbill is that document that we give our clients that's like a receipt for our services, but it helps us get paid. It helps them get reimbursed. It's really an amazing document. And in the future, Thursday 30. So November and December, we're going to go through things like intake paperwork, the service agreement, the consent for treatment. The consent for treatment is so important because you have to have things in there that let the client know how to find information, for example, about how you secure your files, what happens to your files if something happens to you, who's the contact person. So look for that. We're not going to have a Thursday 30 next week because I'm going to be eating turkey or something similar. But the following week, we will get down and dirty with all of that good paperwork. Okay, so we won't get dirty. That's weird. So I'm going to make sure I can see all of y'all. If you look down below, you'll be able to post comments. If there is something, a particular type of paperwork you want to make sure that I go over in the future. I know a lot of you last week asked me about posting the consent for treatment, and I call it a service agreement, and that's why I'm saving it for December. We're going to start the countdown. I love giving away money. I love giving away free stuff because that's for you guys to start your practice. It may not be a lot, but it's enough to get some new software. It may be enough to go network or start something new, another stream of income on your page or web page. So this November, December is all about ethical, profitable, and easy paperwork. We're going to talk about all the rule changes. We need to get new professionals up to speed. Y'all, 2022 is going to bring us our new rules regarding LPC associates in private practice. And I just saw a Facebook user wants to know about treatment plans. I'll talk about treatment plans. And that's really actually something, you know what I'll do? I'll work it into a note. I'll talk about a note and a treatment plan because all of that has to be a part of your client file. We need to get our new professionals up to speed. We need to get our supervisors up to speed. LPC associates or graduate students who are about to be LPC associates, you can't be in private practice unless your supervisor tells you to or gives you permission to do so. So I want to train supervisors who feel confident supervising you in private practice. I want you to have a ton of supervisors to choose from. So that's part of what we're going to be doing in November and December as well. We're going to be talking about the contract that will make it safe for both parties. Everybody's going to be safe and comfortable. So December 2nd, we'll talk about the consent form in detail. The following week, it looks like we're going to cover treatment plans and notes. Anything else, post it down here and I will listen and I will do what you tell me to do. So let me talk about some upcoming things. December the 6th, we have something at Kate Walker Training in Texas, Counselors Creating Badass Businesses, called Mentor of the Month. Well, in December, we have two mentors. We have Annie Veers, December 6th, who's going to talk about that question we all ask ourselves: how much should we charge and how much should we pay ourselves? So December 13th, Jennifer Kane is going to talk to all of you play therapists out there about how to start a play therapy practice. So December 16th with Annie talking about money, and then December 16th, Jennifer is going to talk to us about how to start a play therapy practice. Get your tickets at katewalkertraining.com. And if you look down, there it is, down here, you'll see it scrolling across the screen. If you're a supervisor, November 29th, Dr. Leanne Salmonson will be talking to all of us supervisors about supervising in a school setting. So again, if you're an LPC associate or an LMFT associate, and your supervisor isn't a part of this group and they're not joining us for our monthly consultations, get their butts over there. Tell them that this is important. There are too many changes coming up to sit and pretend like none of this is happening, or it's just too hard, or you don't have time, and all the things. Please notice that if you miss one of these Thursday 30s, you can go to my YouTube channel. YouTube channel is Dr. Kate Walker, and you can see all of these posted. I think we keep them up there for at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. So you can go back and see these, and we try to post them by topic. But before I get too far in the weeds, let's welcome our new badasses. It looks like we have 19 new badasses joining Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses. And I am so proud of you guys because you have found the place where we try to give away as much free stuff and affordable stuff as we possibly can. When you get to our group, look for the hashtags, do a search, look at our featured items so that you're really getting the most out of this site. We have people willing to have free mentoring. We have people willing to do affordable mentoring. Dr. Megan Pickens, who was our mentor of the month last Monday, talked about hiring right. It was amazing. She has the recording and she's going to be offering it to our badasses. So look for that. Look up Dr. Megan Pickens and she will give you more information about that. So let's welcome new badasses. Keisha Dawn Wortham, Brittany Nicole Jaramillo, Ellen, Donna Bolden Forte, Beth Aziz Rainey, Tiffany C., Mariana Gutierrez, Therapy with Abby, PLLC, Whitley Clay, Hudson Valley Psychodrama Institute, Susan Bienvenue, licensed professional clinical counselor and registered play I bet that was supposed to be therapist, and Atria Hampton, Natalie G., Leila Owen, Stephanie Adair, Mental Health with Malalia, Roxana Castellanos, Tierra Ortiz Rodriguez. Let's get to work. I am so happy you guys are here. All right. So I'm going to do the super fancy screen sharing because I love this new software. For those of you who don't know, it's called StreamYard, and it's amazing. And so as I switch. So the first thing you have to understand about a superbill, and maybe I'll do this before I screen share. So a superbill serves two purposes. If you take insurance, it is likely that you may use a different type of document. So this is really for folks who are switching to cash pay. Now, I don't care what you charge. You can do cash pay, very affordable rate. So when I say cash pay, don't automatically think that I'm thinking about $200 an hour, $300 an hour. Right, you can charge a very affordable rate and make a great living. But what a super bill does is it allows you to give your client some documentation when they pay you the cash. They can take that documentation and perhaps get paid by their insurance company. So when you're talking to these folks, these potential clients on the phone, you say something like, well, my rate is $65 an hour. And at the end of the session, I will give you something called a super bill. And if you have benefits that allow you to be reimbursed for mental health services, you can submit that super bill and possibly get reimbursed for our sessions. So you're using terms like may and possibly because you're not going to do the legwork to go check this out. Now, there is a business model where you do that. I talked about it in another Thursday 30, but for today, what we're talking about is letting your potential client know that you won't be doing the insurance legwork. You're not going to be checking their benefits. You're not going to see if they have out-of-network benefits. You're simply going to charge them the money. The money is due the time services are rendered, and you're going to offer them this super bill that allows them to take that. And if you're face-to-face, I highly recommend an NCR. That's a no carbon receipt. It's a no carbon form form. Back in the day, we had these things called carbon copies. An NCR form allows you to write, and then it automatically makes an identical form that you can tear off and hand to the client, so there's no confusion. Those of us in the virtual world, you're going to be transmitting this stuff to your clients via a HIPAA compliant file transfer, or you can always send it snail mail. So if you have a HIPAA compliant software that you're using for your calls or your video chats, it's really easy to use that and submit that if your business associate agreement allows. So all of this has to be HIPAA compliant because you're giving your client a document that has PHI or protected health information on it. So let's take a look at a Superbill. I will show you mine. Because again, the rule, and for those of you who are new, the rule is if I show you my stuff and you see an error, you got to tell me, because again, this is the time of year when I go through all of my stuff and change it and upgrade it and update it, right? So let's look at my Superbill. So my Superbill, this is my face-to-face Superbill. So if I was sitting across from my client, I would have this over on a table, and then when the session's over, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to fill this out. So you can see that this Superbill serves a lot of different purposes, everything from helping my client know when their next appointment's going to be up here, which is wonderful to work with folks, especially if there are no-shows or if there are confusion. When you use that NCR form, that's N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie, R as in Roger, NCR form, you could say, well, you know, really what I handed you was something that I'm holding in my hand right now, and I show that you were supposed to be here on November the 20th. So you can't really say it was November the 21st because I wrote it down. So there you go. It has the date of service for today's appointment, the client's name. And this is really important. Your name as the service provider has to be here. Graduate students, LPC and LMFT associates, if someone wants to put their name in the provider line instead of yours and then submit that claim, that's insurance fraud. You cannot substitute someone else's name for billing purposes. So very, very important, where it says provider, you have to have your name, your credential. As we scroll, I'm going to skip the part in the middle, and I'm going to go here because this is actually I've got two forms on one page, because when I send it off to the printer, just save a little bit of money. You'll see at the bottom, I've got a couple of things. I have achievebalance.org is a DBA for my company, all about the family LLC. So I have my federal tax ID here at the bottom and my NPI for all about the family here. So that's on the form because that's what your client will need to provide their insurance company if they have those type of benefits that allow them to be reimbursed for your services. You'll see also here, there has to be a diagnosis code. So your DSM-5, if that's handy, if it's not, Google DSM-5. I've found that there are some great sites that you can go to if you just can't grab your DSM-5, quickly enough. So have that handy. You have to have a diagnosis code. Most insurance companies with corporations that your client works for, they won't accept a Superbill if it does not have a diagnosis code. So if you feel uncomfortable with that, if you are like me, I don't like giving a diagnosis until I've seen my client at least 3 or 4 times. That's not how I do an assessment. Then you can have some F codes that you might use, like adjustment disorder. But again, that's something you need to have training in, supervision in, and you have to be comfortable with that. Now, let's talk about the CPT codes, right? Lots of numbers on this thing. So the CPT code is here. And these, I believe they're up to date. That's one of the things I'm actually going to update today. 90791 is a psychosocial. It's basically an intake. It's a quick assessment. I charge in units. So for the unit, the reason I do that is because I charge for an hour and a half. So I call it 1.5 units. So I don't put a time there because that's the way I was trained. And since I only do one, again, with my initial assessment, you're not going to get a diagnosis from me that's, very, very firm. I have to think it over. I have to look at the questions I'm asking. I may change my mind. So most likely from that initial assessment with me, that initial session, you're going to get an F code. If you don't get reimbursed for that, so sorry. But I do generally do a 90-minute intake. So the fee for that goes here. And then and I've improved this form a lot because over here, these are on my new and improved forms, they're check boxes. So I can just go there, check, 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 and enter all this in. It's a actual dynamic form. But again, what I'm showing you is the form that I would print out and send off to the printer so that they can make it into an NCR form. So for the 90834, it's 45 minutes. 90837 is 90 minutes. And then we have some crisis codes. I have some spaces for late cancellation or no-show. Other services. So this is anything from filling out paperwork for my client, filling out a report, to going to court for my client. Now that's another video. There are stipulations about what you can charge if you're subpoenaed, but any other service, phone calls, if you're a texter or an emailer, I am not, but if you are, you might charge for that in increments of 15 minutes. It can be really helpful for your client. Now at the bottom, you'll see that I have cash, credit card, or those of y'all who still take checks, you can check that box and put in a check number, put down the charges, amount paid, balance, NCR form, you tear that, you hand one copy to your client, keep one copy in your HIPAA compliant file storage, scan that in, put it in a file drawer, lock it up, whatever it is you do with that. Now your client has the freedom to take that piece of paper and go off to their insurance company, turn that in, and possibly, there is no guarantee, possibly get reimbursed for all or a portion of the service. Now, I went ahead and Googled, because I do this, Superbills. So it's amazing, all of the forms and the templates, that we see here. So here's one that's takes you kind of step by step. Let's see, there's one I looked at earlier that looked almost, because all of these, of course, you could tell aren't mental health, right? Mental health, we're talking maybe 5 or 6 CPT codes. We're not dealing with hundreds of CPT codes like our friends in the medical field. Here's the one I think I looked at earlier. So again, all I did was I Googled Superbill. So you see it's very simple. It's the date of service, the CPT code, a brief description, how many units, and then a fee. And then, of course, your name and signature at the bottom. And with everything electronic, again, you might want to have something that's a little bit easier, a little bit more dynamic. Adobe makes great forms that you can turn into signable. They can, you can sign them, you can update them. But again, you just need to be sure that if you're going to do this virtually, that you're transmitting this through something that's HIPAA compliant. So for example, just regular email, that's not going to work because of all the protected health information that's on this bill, Superbill. So I know DoxyMe has a file transfer system that's part of their HIPAA compliant system. I'm not sure about Zoom. I'm using a HIPAA compliant Zoom for my video conferencing, but I need to do a little research because I'm not sure if posting things or delivering things through the chat function in Zoom is also HIPAA compliant. So if anybody knows the answer to that out there, please post it here, there we go, here. In the thread and let us know, because I think that's really helpful. So No, I don't need that. Thank you. You can also Google CPT codes, right? If you're doing something and you're not sure what the CPT code is, this can be pretty reliable. You just need to make sure that you're staying up to date, because if we go back to my form here, let's look at all the numbers that we have, right? You have to have your address, right? Your phone number and contact information here. You have to have the date, all the numbers, right? Of the CPT code number. You have to have the number of minutes, right? Because your CPT code has to match the number of minutes, right? If you use the wrong CPT code with the wrong number of minutes, it's not going to work. And then, of course, the numbers at the bottom, your federal tax ID and your NPI number. You may or may not need both of those, but it's helpful for my clients, so I included that. So if you have not gone into official business yet, right? If you are still kind of on the fence about this and you're doing a DBA, or you're just doing sort of, you're not really sure if you want an LLC or a PLLC or all the things, just keep in mind your NPI number is essential. Your federal tax ID is essential. Those are the things that you're going to need to post on the Superbill. This is a courtesy. So here's what I get asked sometimes, right? It's like, okay, well, what if my client takes my Superbill and changes the diagnosis or changes something? Y'all, once it leaves your hand, it's out of your control. And this is one of the things that I do like about the Superbill, because it's really now between the client and their insurance company, right? Not the other way around, where the insurance is getting in between me and my client. I love my insurance. When I go to the doctor, I love to use insurance, believe me. But as a practitioner, when I feel like the insurance company is standing between me and my client and the service I can provide, or my client and me and how and when I get paid, I don't like that. So this Superbill may be a great answer for a lot of you. And for you folks who are going to be able to take cash in the new year, 2022, remember, it's not an official rule yet. It has been approved, yay, but we can't do things until it's ratified. So once this is ratified and you're allowed to take cash, this Superbill is going to really help you and your clients out, because it's also a marketing tool. If you can help your potential client understand that you will be offering this and there's a chance that they can get reimbursed for your services, that's awesome. Okay. So again, this is really out of your hands once you hand it off to your client. So let me show you a couple of things here. If you are, let's do this and this. If you are interested in the Mentor of the Month ticket, right, you're going to need to go to katewalkertraining.com, katewalkertraining.com. Scroll down and you'll see you can choose to buy a ticket for our Mentor of the Month. Again, great folks coming up. I've got Jennifer Kane talking about starting a play therapy practice, and Annie Veers talking about money. And then I've got over here my Texas Supervisor Training Consultation Group just for supervisors. $25 for the tickets. Both tickets are just $25. Dr. Leanne Salmonson is going to be talking about supervising in the school setting. If you missed one of my videos, you need to get to Kate Walker YouTube channel. And that's where we're going to post all of these videos for you to see, just in case you missed them. All right, back to me. Please, guys, take some time, spread the word about this, post here in the thread. Let me know what paperwork you'd like me to go over, because right now what I'm thinking, it's going to be the consent for treatment. I see a treatment plan. We'll go over that, which I probably will combine with a note. And then the other thing I was thinking about was possibly a HIPAA release of information, an official ROI that your client can use so that you can share information with their physician or with another therapist. But that's what I've got. I mean, if you guys have some things in mind that you'd like to see, post it and I would love to go over it. So again, I'm Dr. Kate Walker. This is Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses, and we want you to have every tool you possibly could think of and need so that you stay in business, because you're too important to lose to something like not having the right paperwork, getting in trouble because your paperwork is wrong, going broke, giving up, and burning out, right? Remember, hashtag counselors don't quit, hashtag counselors for life. I love doing this, right? Maybe I'll just think of another hashtag so I get to do that. This is Dr. Kate Walker, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a great turkey day or whatever day. Talk to you later.